What's up, BookTube? Sandy Golson back here with a mini book haul of some books that I'm really excited about reading in the months to come in 2020. First up in this book haul, I'm going to go to the nonfiction area, and I'm going to talk about a book from a musical artist that I was really into back in the day, back in the early 90s, and just so many hits that I just really loved listening to this particular artist. She was a great singer and just an incredible voice, and that is Dayne. And so I decided to read Tell It to My Heart by Dayne, and it's written with David Smitherman, and it says the subtitle is How I Lost My Shit, Conquered My Fear, and Found My Voice. And so I'm really excited to read this book. It's not a particularly long book, and it's got quite a few photos in the back. It's got a big section of photos here in the back of the book, and the book itself is a little over 160 pages. So I'm really looking forward to reading this one. This is just a musician that I just really love a lot of her stuff, and I'm just excited to to find out more about her rise and the things that she had to endure. So really looking forward to reading this one. Dayne, one of my favorite singers of the 90s. Next up, I'm going to go back to fiction, and An American Marriage by Tayari Jones. It is an Oprah's Book Club selection for 2018. So I'm a little bit late to the party with this particular book. It says haunting, beautifully written, the New York Times Book Review. A captivating love story that is also a clear-eyed look at the effects of injustice in contemporary American life. Tayari Jones' novel gorgeously chronicles three people who are bound together and separated by forces beyond their control. As newlyweds, Celestial and Ron are living the American dream. He is a young executive and she is an artist on the brink of an exciting career. But after Roy's incarceration for a crime he did not commit, Celestial, bereft and unmoored, turns to childhood friend and Roy's best man, Andre, for support. So you can kind of see where this is going. As Roy's absence drags on, Celestial faces soul-wrenching decisions about balancing loyalty and independence, desire with social and familial expectations, and what is right with what is fair, and to whom. Gripping, timely, and masterful, An American Marriage looks deep into the souls of people who must reckon with the past while moving forward with hope and pain into the future. So, wow, sounds pretty deep. So we'll see when I end up getting to this one. It is not particularly long. It's a little over 300 pages. So looking forward to jumping into this one, An American Marriage. Next up, I'm going to go back to nonfiction and a book that I've seen and I've been wanting to get for some time, and that is Shook One by Charlamagne Tha God, one of the hosts of the very popular show The Breakfast Club, radio show The Breakfast Club, which is just a cultural sensation. And if you don't know about it, you should check it out. They really take on a lot of really interesting topics. Now, Charlamagne has also written a book previously called Black Privilege, where the title I think was controversial to some people. I've not read it, but if I do like Shook One, I probably will go ahead and give Black Privilege an opportunity. So, but I want to give you an idea of why I picked this one, and it really, in the back cover blurb, it really gets right into it, pretty much right off the bat. Fear is holding you back. It's time to turn the tables and channel your fears to fuel your success. With raw honesty, Charlamagne presents his own struggles with anxiety, including fear of failure, fear of God, parental paranoia, and fear of just being black in America. Ironically, even after achieving national prominence as a radio personality, Charlamagne still found himself paralyzed by anxiety and distrust. Now, in Shook One, he is working through these problems, many of which he traces back to cultural PTSD. With help from mentors, friends, and therapy, Shook One is also a call to action. Therapy and showing weakness are not always easy subjects, but it's your right to get help if you need it. So I just think this is the timing for this is good on so many different levels, because, you know, a lot of black men do face stressors that I think a lot of people simply don't understand, and dealing with it while still putting on a strong front is something that many of us have to deal with. And so I'm really interested to hear what Charlamagne's take is on this, and what advice or nuggets of wisdom that he has to offer that could be beneficial to people like myself and others who are dealing with issues related to anxiety, because it's out there, and in many ways it can be a silent killer for so many of us, especially as we choose to deny it and just tell people all the time, yo man, I'm good. But sometimes we're not always good. Sometimes we do need a little something extra, even if we aren't willing to show that quote unquote weakness. Next up is a book that I have been going back and forth about whether to get, and I finally decided to pull the trigger on it, and that is Such a Fun Age by Kiley, Reid. This book has been a little controversial for some people. So on the inside cover, it says, what happens when you do the right thing for the wrong reason? Alex Chamberlain is a woman who gets what she wants and has made a living with her confidence-driven brand, showing other women how to do the same. So she is shocked when her babysitter, Amira Tucker, is confronted while watching the Chamberlain's toddler one night walking through the aisles of their local high-end supermarket. The store's security guard, seeing a young black woman out late with a white child, accuses Amira of kidnapping 2-year-old Briar. A small crowd gathers, a bystander films everything, and Amira is furious and humiliated. Alex resolves to make things right. So you kind of get an idea of maybe where it's going. I'm intrigued by it. You know, I think when you hear about that first part of the inside cover, you know, you start to think, oh my gosh, I hope this isn't going to be a white savior story, because we have a lot of those. And I wasn't sure if I wanted to give it a try, but I decided, you know what, it sounds interesting, and maybe there'll be a twist in it that'll be different than what I'm kind of thinking in the back of my head here. So I wanted to give it a try, and so we'll see how it goes. Yeah, Such a Fun Age by Kiley, Reid. Lastly is Mrs. Everything by Jennifer Weiner. I'm gonna guess Weiner. I was interested in this book, of course. I have to admit, I'm a little bit of a sucker for books that are set in Detroit. I'm a native of Detroiter. Detroit stand up. But, you know, this also sounded kind of good too. Okay, so Joe and Bethy Kaufman were born into a world full of promise. Growing up in 1950s Detroit, they live in a perfect Dick and Jane house where their roles in the family are clearly defined. Joe is the tomboy, the bookish rebel with a passion to make the world better, more fair. Bethy is the pretty, feminine good girl, a would-be star who enjoys the power her beauty confers and dreams of a traditional life. So you got the sisters with the two distinctive personalities. But the truth ends up looking different from what the girls imagined. Joe and Bethy survive traumas and tragedies as their lives unfold against the background of free love and Vietnam, Woodstock, and women's lib. Bethy becomes an adventure-loving wild child who dives headlong into the counterculture and is up for anything except settling down. Meanwhile, Joe becomes a proper young mother in Connecticut, a witness to the changing world instead of a participant. Neither woman inhabits the world she dreams of, nor has a life that feels authentic or brings her joy. Is it too late for the women to finally stake claim on happily ever after? So it's an interesting story, maybe not only just the coming of age, but just the evolution that we go through as we get older. Are we the same person at 16 that we are when we're 26? And are we the same person at 26 that we are when we're 36 or 46? So that's something I'm really interested in, and one of the reasons that I wanted to pick up this book. So for more BookTube content, if you're interested, and AuthorTube content, if you're interested, please consider hitting the like button for this video and the subscribe button for this channel as I continue on this BookTube and AuthorTube journey now and into the future.